Hello and welcome once again to Mission TV Special Edition. I'm Melissa Summers. This is the 59th session of the General Conference, and I've got so much more left to tell you, to show you, and right now I want to introduce to you Mr. Jack Henderson, a wonderful man I had the pleasure of meeting in my office in Tennessee. His mission, his ministry is called the Great Controversy Project. And Brother Jack, thank you so much for joining us. Tell us, what is the Great Controversy Project?
The aim of it is to get it into every home in America, which is absolutely taken off like a bullet right now, and also into every home in America, in the world.
Okay.
In fact, it started a few years ago when I had a burden. I'd gone to Africa and started a printing house there, and we just started to print, and it had only black and white printing.
Okay.
And God sent the publishing house manager on a furlough. He sent a man from the Pacific Press into the African Herald, and I went out to visit.
Okay.
And he was showing me all around. He just had black and white, and over in the corner was all this boxes of whatever you call it, crates up. He said that's a two-color press. He said, but they won't let us set it up because it came from black market, but yet it was taken up with the 13th Sabbath offering.
Okay.
I said, can you set this up, Vic? He said, yes. Well, I said, you just start praying about it, because I'm going back to the Union and try to get them to set up the African Herald, set this up.
Okay.
I went back, the Union president took it to the committee, we voted it, and I told the president, I said, we'd like to start printing the Great Controversy and the Desire of Ages. I called Vic, said, send it up. And that union was the largest union in the world at the time, but now it's growing it just grew, and they're still talking about this project 40 years later. But when I got home here, I had a burden, and I've always put this book with everything I have, and I carry them in my cars, my trucks, from one business to the other.
Was this the beginning of your zeal for this project?
Always had the zeal for the Great Controversy, because a colporteur brought it to my wife's home 69 years ago. And she took a Bible course, and I met her when I was 25 or 26 years old. And that's how I came into the church.
How old are you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to catch you off guard, but I'm adding this up, and you don't look like what it.
Well, I'll be 75 in a couple months.
You are kidding.
No, that's right. I'll
okay. Go ahead. Wow.
But anyway, I took a leave of absence and came to Carolina, and I realized how important and I tried to go to the Pacific Press and the Review and Herald, and the books was too high. So I went to a publishing company and printed the book. And then I went to a little academy in Tennessee, Highland Academy, and the students packed the book. Had a little press that made an envelope for me, and we had them to print the book.
Okay.
And I went back to my pastor, and I said, I'd like to send this to every home in our county.
Okay. Wait a minute. So you were a colporteur.
Years ago, I started as a colporteur. Many years ago, I was in business, and I left the business when I became an Adventist. I was with F.W. Woolsworth Company. Okay,
so you started taking this book around, and what was that like?
Well, anything I showed a person, no matter what they bought, they had to have the Great Controversy. When I became a leader as an assistant public, men had to sell it with a set. When I become a union man or a conference man, they had to put this book with it. Because Ellen tells us that this is the greatest book that's ever been written besides the Bible. It's second to the Bible.
Right.
She said it's equal to, it's above silver and gold. She says, I'm more anxious to see the wide circulation of this book than any other book that I've written.
Absolutely.
Because it brings out the past, the present, and the future. It brings out the history of the church. And right now, I believe with all my heart, the greatest evangelistic effort has ever started is started with our people. Because we've got people that are on fire. They're letting nothing distract them, money, stocks, bonds, houses, or anything at all. They're saying, we know that this book should be in every home. And they're saying, I'm taking my retirement. I want to do it. Little children, 9 and 10 years old. Mr. Henderson, I'd like to help somebody know about Jesus. You know, wouldn't it be sad to think that in the end somebody would walk up to us and say, you knew the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and you wouldn't give it to me? Can you imagine what God said in Ezekiel there? He said, go out and blow the trumpet, sound the warning. If we don't do it, what happens? Our blood is going to be on our hands.
Right.
What did Jesus tell when he said to Lazarus and went to the tomb? He said, Lazarus, come forth. Right?
Right.
And did he do it all? No. Lazarus all bound up.
Yep.
And God said to the people,
had
loose
to.
him and let him go. These people are coming in across boundary lines of churches and faith all around the world.
So you're saying that God is not going to do for us and for them that which we ourselves can do.
That's right, but he's telling us the same as he told them to loose the people. All these people are hungry and thirsty. I'm out there and then listen to this experience I told you ahead of time. I see people saying, oh, what's going to happen? I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. And I quote that thing from the Spirit of Prophecy, the Desire of Ages, where she says, worry's blind, cannot discern the future,
right.
but Jesus sees the end from the beginning. In every difficulty, he has ways prepared to bring relief. Our Heavenly Father has 1,000 ways to provide for us of which we know nothing. Those who accept the one principle, making the service and honor of God supreme, will find perplexities vanish and a plain path before their feet. What else do we need to do?
That's
what
right.
else do we need to do?
What perplexities have you seen removed in your effort of the great controversy?
Well, the devil tries to step in there lots of times, but anytime I pray, for instance, maybe I shouldn't bring this on this soon, but 8 weeks ago I prayed, dear God, help me to get to the General Conference. Now, nobody knew me at the General Conference.
Okay.
I said, help me to get there so I can tell them what's going on in America with this great controversy.
Right,
And so that they could bring it here to Atlanta and tell the whole world.
Okay, okay.
Guess what happened?
What happened?
Within hours, somebody from the General Conference called a man in Maryland. That man sent an email to somebody in Alabama. I'm on the phone when the email comes in, and he said, Mr. Henderson, you just got an email. The General Conference wants to speak to you ASAP. I said, who sent you that email? And he said, Dale Thomas from the Review and Herald. I called Dale, and I said, what's going on? He said, I don't know, but they want to speak to you or hear about this book wherever they go. So I called the General Conference, and I'm talking to Pastor Hurley. He's excited.
Okay.
He said, would you come in for an interview on Thursday at 8 o'clock? I said, yes.
On Hope
This is
Channel?
on Monday.
Okay,
And while I'm talking to him, I said, Pastor, I didn't know he's a pastor. I said, I know you have worship. Maybe I could tell a little bit about the great controversy of what's going on in America before the worship and after. No, that's impossible because one of the vice presidents or somebody there was speaking. That's impossible. I hung up and said, that's okay. Within less than an hour, they called me and said, you can take the worship. Now, I hung up immediately and I prayed, dear God, help me get on Hope Channel. The next day, Hope Channel called and said, would you please come and do an interview on Hope Channel? So I showed up there and I went to take the worship and I got in there that evening
so God is parting the sea for this thing.
He's just opened one door after the other. It's unreal.
How is it opening for the people that you're ministering and trying to give this to? Are they receptive to it?
Okay, let me tell you. I went on 3ABN. A lady was from Missouri. I don't know what faith she was, but she called in and she said, I want to send 600 of these around my city here.
Was she invented?
No. They have nothing to do with it. A little Pentecostal lady from Florida just called in to SDA in South Carolina that's been trying to talk to this woman for years. She called her and she said, I just received a book in the mail. It's called The Great Controversy. The Storm is Coming. She said, it's the most awesome book I've ever read. You need to get this book. She's telling an SDA, you need to get this book. And she said, we're taking it to our Sunday school class and teaching. A little Methodist lady in Michigan, she called. She said, I'm on page 300 and something, and got a hold of the pastor there. What church you go to? What day do you worship? I want to keep it. I'm coming. A Catholic man read it. He said, this is the most awesome book. I didn't know my church did this. I didn't know this about history. How can I get 12 more? A man from Arizona. He wrote in, he said, by the way, and he wrote in and he said, I just finished reading The Great Controversy. It's changed my life. He said, I'm reluctant to get rid of it. But he said, my family's so excited, I'd like to have 3 more.
Oh.
Can you imagine? And not only that, this last time we was on 3ABN, Australia called one of 50,000, 20,000, 10,000.
So this is a global project.
Oh, it's going everywhere. Canada just called last week, I want 100,000. A little lady from the Philippines called me at midnight, and she said, are you the man that's got the great controversy? How can I can get it to my family? I said, yes, that'll be fine. And she said, they live in California. Would you please send it to them? And she talked, and I thought she was an SDA. And I just said, are you an SDA? Oh, she said, no, what's that? Oh, I said, I just wondered what church you went to. She said, I'm a Roman Catholic. And she said, I want this to be in my children's home at home. I want to tell you, God's speaking across the line. They're coming out. And I'll tell you, if people go to early writings, yes, early writings, page 179, as Lot was forced out of the city.
Yes,
remember
yes,
how Lot,
yes.
before
the angel had to...
the angel. That's what's happening. And she says that same thing will happen to these honest people in all these other churches. Listen what's happening in Australia. Right now, they're translating this book, and they're giving it 2 chapters at a time to the people that's walking into a mosque. heaven is opening up. God's touching people. I interviewed, now I got a website, greatcontroversyproject.org.
Okay,
I've got several DVDs on there.
Greatcontroversyproject.org. It's greatcontroversyproject.org. Okay, okay.
I got to have the project in there. But where was I at? I forgot. I'm getting old.
Let me see. Okay, we talked about the woman, the Catholic woman.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay.
Well, anyway, we got Amazing Facts card in here. Okay. That's a miracle. I prayed, God help me that the Amazing Facts will take it to their board. What did they do? They allowed us to put a Bible course card in there. We got a tracking number so we know that it came from the layman.
Amazing Facts has joined in with this project.
No, they just give me permission to put this card in here.
Okay, okay.
But they'll call me, like last night they called me and said how many they have. Hundreds of people's coming in. Like when I walked in to take the devotion at the General Conference, I called. Carolyn Moxley was taking care of that. She said, Jack, we got 152 today. We got 103 last week. Okay. And she's just like on cloud nine what's going on.
Right.
And what's amazing about it, all the church members don't have to do anything. All they got to do is send $1.25 into the Review and Herald and cover our zip code.
Right.
And then the Amazing Facts does the rest. And all we got to do is sit and pray and fast. And if we start praying and fasting and leave the angels take care of that, we're supposed to spread the literature like the leaves of all.
That's
Is that correct? You've heard that?
Correct, yes.
And is it even like that mean there's only one leaf here or one leaf there? A little lady read this in my church, and it hadn't been a year ago. She read it through. It went from one room to the other. She got on the computer, found our church, walked in, was ready to be baptized. Northern New England Conference has sent out over 250,000. A lady got the book, and within 3 days, she read the whole book. She went to our church and is baptized now with several of her family. Michigan, I went out there and spoke in a couple churches. The churches cover the whole district. The whole district. Now they got $50,000 in a CD. They're taking that out and sending it to another district. Lots of the churches has covered their whole areas all over the United States, from California. Can you imagine, in less than a year now, our people, the first printing last May and the 1st of May, every part of every state in the United States has been covered.
What has been one of your greatest challenges with the Great Controversy Project?
How do you mean, what's the greatest challenge?
I know the enemy is not happy with your efforts. So
well, I'm afraid every day is going to take my life, I'll tell you that.
What has been some...
Just like a while ago, we started this and all the machines went up. You know?
He's right. And in fact, my director producer said this has never happened before with our equipment. And you're right. You're right. So what other things have you encountered? Real brief.
I don't know. I just leave it in the Lord's hand going.
Right. We don't want to give the enemy any glory. I understand.
No, but now listen to this. Now SDAs will understand what I'm talking about. But in Michigan, that little church, decided to use this. They put 3 billboards up, a 40-foot billboard, 2 20-foot billboards, and they took a picture of this book and put it on there, and it said a must read.
On what size billboard?
Billboard, 40-foot billboard, and 2 20-foot billboards.
Where was this?
In Michigan, Grand Haven, Michigan. And guess what happened when the bill ran out?
What's that?
The rent bill. When the rent ran out, there was a picture of Mary put on the sign, and the picture said, time for Mary, and then an email how to get in touch with her. Wonder who did that. But that's just, I'm saying.
Yeah.
In California now, there's 2 ladies saw an article that I put in the Review and Herald, and one saw it here and one saw it there, and these women are on fire. They said it like electric bolts, the lightning went through them. Now they're wanting to market this thing, and they're so excited. So they're going to California and Oregon and Washington and start coming eating, and they want to do something, and they're doing it.
Brother Jack, you've got an electric bolt right through you.
Well, I want to tell you, God is speaking to us for the last time. The handwriting's on the wall. Jesus is telling us something. Now, we can sit around and twiddle our thumbs. We can sit on our hands. But I want to tell you, God's going to seal these people, sir, soon, and He's given us the responsibility, and this book will change lives. I'll tell you, electrify the Bible. My pastor told my conference president in my living room, he'd been preaching for 40 years. He said, this has electrified his church like nothing he's ever before. And when I went to him, when we talked originally, you know, I said, I went to this academy and all to help me with this. I went to the board. The church had no money, absolutely no money. So the church, they went to the finance meeting, the board, they didn't have any money. But one on the board member said, why don't you let Jack tell what's been going on all these experiences like I'm telling you, and I could tell you 1,000. But that lady walked out of the shopping center, you know what she was?
What?
She hugged me and she wept. She said, God sent you. I see that out of hundreds of people. They'll just hug you and say, God sent you. I said, I have owned several nursing homes. I said, you remind me of a professional person that works in the hospital. She said, I'm a doctor, Mr. Henderson. My office is just up here on Patton Avenue. You come and see me anytime you want to. I have those experiences. I'm just leaving for Europe, somebody say, and God has just said, I walked into Staples here not long ago.
Hey, you know, Brother Jack, they're telling my time is up. We need to go like 3 hours with you.
Oh.
That's okay, that's okay. Let me tell you, the Lord is truly blessing your efforts. Our prayers are with you.
What is nice is that our church members is behind it.
That's
this
right.
Is a revival. It's like a preacher, evangelist goes out there, and he'll go. But this book goes in there. They're evangelists all over the country.
I hate to stop him. I just hate to stop him. Wow. Let me tell you, truly, we have to be on fire, just like Brother Jack Henderson with the Great Controversy Project. And you know what? God is coming soon. And our mission is to preach this gospel and to be a witness so that we can be a service of others, to others. I'm Melissa Summers. This is Mission TV, a special edition. We're broadcasting live from the 59th session of the General Conference, and I just hate to bring this one to a close. Brother Jack, thank you so much. God bless you. We'll be back.
I wanted to say somebody want to say something about a dress, and she had something wrong.
There's power in the blood of